Alright, apparently the video cut me off. I was hoping to do it in 3, but oh well. I'll take this video to basically tell you some inspirational stories about how I've touched people or parents that have Asperger's children. As I was saying, I was in PA, Pennsylvania. I was at a local mall there. I went into the Borders, or the Walden Books, Barnes & Noble, whatever you want to call it. I was in a bookstore, basically. Lady behind the counter, when I went to check out, because I had bought Noir Spider-Man and one other book that I cannot remember. I think it was Deadpool. And she noticed that I was averting eyes a little bit, and I was showing my subtle signs of autism. And she asked me if I had Asperger's. I said yes. She goes, "How old are you?" I said, at the time, I think this was last year, so I was like 22, just about to turn 23. And to make a long story short, basically, the woman ended up crying and a little bit unprofessionally kind of got over the counter and hugged me, and her boss just looked at me and I looked at her boss back like, hey, don't give this lady such a hard time because of me, it's my fault. And I've had, I think, 2 other encounters from parents now, and I've also had quite a few people that have Asperger's or have been misdiagnosed, whatever. And people say that I'm a role model, that I'm someone that younger kids can look up to, and I'm sorry to burst the happy little positive bubble, but I am not a role model in any way, shape, or form. I'm not a role model. I am not someone that kids should aspire to. But I've also graciously took in the fact that, people, you don't want to hurt people's feelings, basically. I don't want to flat out, shut people down. Because even though I don't feel that way about myself, if other people feel that way about me, then I go with it. But I try not to get a huge ego and a head over it. Know what I mean? Like, it's just, it doesn't seem kosher. It doesn't seem right. It isn't, to quote, the signature phrase of Michael Holt or Michael Holton, otherwise known as Justice Society member Mr. Terrific. That's not fair play. That's not a very fair thing to do to people. I have this belief that you can use me as a stepping stone, like, to show kids, like, for example, in May, presumably, in May, because apparently I got word from pretty much a lady who's my counselor. Because I've been working successfully, they want to close my case, my work case, at the quote-unquote Department of Rehabilitation Services in my area. And this kind of makes me, it's a good thing. But then I started to question, it's like, okay, I was told that perhaps in May that I would be brought down as like a special guest or something, and I need to, at some point, I need to call, just on a personal note, I need to call and check on that. But, of course, by the time this video is posted, I've already had made the call and everything, so... But no, presumably in May, if it goes very smoothly, or for whatever reason, I may in May be doing, as part of something called the Mystic program, which is something that they do for kids with disabilities. Some are autistic, some are physically handicapped or Down syndrome, whatever, or even just high school kids in general that are getting help. Through this program, I was asked if I wanted to become a special guest speaker and talk about workplace diversity, but no, I don't want to just talk about workplace diversity at this. I want to not just do workplace diversity, but I want to send a message as well, and a very positive message at that, and that is a message of hope. That it isn't just diversity in the workplace, but throughout life it should be diversity. Because let me tell you something, I've met people from all different walks of life, have many different diseases, disorders, defects. I mean, there was a customer that I saw, half her face was missing. She had no nose, she had no right eye, her face was all lumpy and she looked like a melted G.I. Joe figure. But I smiled and I kept my cool, because you know what? It isn't the defects, it isn't the imperfect. It's like I said, being imperfect makes you perfect. Because when you look past those things as well as other people, then you are actually accepted for who you are. Now, I consider myself to be very flawed in the fact that I'm autistic, I'm sociably awkward, I'm hyper obsessed with comics, I'm obsessed with movies, I randomly switch topics in mid-conversation and it sometimes confuses people, but people that know and even people that just don't seem to care, they go with it. Because they don't look at me as Steve, you know, the guy who has Asperger's. They look at me as, you know, oh, you know, that's Steve, you know, yeah, he's a little bit of an oddball, but, you know, he's a good guy. You know, he's always, you know, he always seems like he's in a positive mood, that he's always happy, and always when he looks like, you know, he's upset or bothered, he always still tries to put on a smile. That's the Steve that people, you know, at my workplace at least, and even on Xbox Live, etc., that they see, or that they at least, you know, kind of somewhat know. And a lot of that is the fact that even when I'm feeling down on myself, I have people to bring me back up, and I've gained this wisdom that even though I'm very hard on myself, there are others that look at me as a pillar of strength, a monarch of inspiration. And on one hand that pressures me, but on the other hand, it's good kind of pressure, because I don't want to let those people down. I don't want them to think ill of me. I don't want them to be negative because I'm in a negative mood or I'm depressed or whatever. So that's pretty much, you know, a nice little bow on this video series. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, however random and, you know, all over the place as it was. Hopefully this kind of opens some of you guys' eyes, and hopefully some of you just flat out enjoyed the videos and it kind of gained you a little bit more of a perspective as me, you know, for me as a person. Whether you be new or you be old on my subscriber list or not,